Hello. Hope everybody is doing well today. It has been very busy. Oh, let me adjust something real quick. There we go. Hello there, Fighting Max. Let me go ahead and move it over to the talk screen for just a second. There we go. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing wonderfully. It has been very, very busy. Just all over the place. Very busy. Meetings everywhere. Working. Traveling. Preparing to travel. So I apologize. I'm hoping things will slow down. I said this last time. But it's not dependent on me currently. So I have some meetings tomorrow. I'm hoping to address some of the stuff so we can get things sorted out so that I can have a better balance of things. So doing well. Got back from graduation this morning on a Sunday morning graduation. Very interesting. Congratulations, though, in the most literal, I guess, congratulations, right? Which is not how you spell that word. But even in the most literal sense, because this is a big milestone. This is to have succeeded academically, to be given a diploma, to be given effectively the first certificate, the piece of paper that tells the world that you are and have been reliable and skilled for a long period of time. And what I find really interesting about this part of your life is how short it is. Pretty busy couple of days compared to my other weeks. No doubt. And depending on if you decide you want to take a break or how, focus on college or get a job to work for a little while, take a break from academia, work your way back into the academic wheelhouse. I mean, there are all kinds of options. It's one of those things where you find when you were in school, and when I was a kid, I remembered. I didn't hate school. I never hated school. There were elements of school I didn't like. Right? I didn't like interacting with a lot of different people who didn't really share my interests. Some of the teachers and I didn't get along at that time. Because I was interested in accuracy. I wasn't interested in, and I still am not. That's something I've carried well into adulthood. I've not been in school for decades now. And one of the things that I've carried into adulthood is I don't care about titles, right? A title can mean that you have proved yourself and your skill, or it can mean that a person with a bigger title made a mistake, right? And that was kind of the same way with a teacher, right? You could be a really good and skilled teacher who has shown that, or a person with a bigger title, whomever hired you, failed. They made a mistake and they hired you. And so that was kind of my thing. In a lot of instances, I would come back and, wait a minute, I know that's the answer you want us to give, but that's not the correct answer. And I've carried that into adulthood. But my point is, you look at school as oh my goodness, I've done this for so long. And you think about it, you've done it for at least 13 years, right? Yeah, well, I say at least. Some of us skip grades, but you've done it for, give or take, 13 years. And then you go to work from ages 8, so you're in school usually from age 5 to age 18, but you work from age 18 to age 65. So the next chapter of your life is a longer chapter than the previous one even. It's not a bad chapter. It's not I don't want that to be the story at all. It's not at all a bad chapter, but it is a longer chapter. People say in the workforce that the high school diploma is the bare minimum for getting an actual minimum wage job, and it's interesting how they downplay 12 years of learning and developing. What's funny is there was a news article actually that I was reading about a week ago, I guess it was, which stated that there are many companies that are not paying attention to college degrees any longer. Now, by the way, I don't want to discourage anyone from getting a college degree. Please, if you intend and have the resource to go get a college degree, do that. But companies are actually more interested, I think this is the way it should be, companies are more interested recently in demonstrations of skill. If you are good at the job, can demonstrate that you're good at the job, can demonstrate a path of learning that you've taken. For example, even some of these Google coding paths, and there are free resources available to you. Harvard classes, one of my favorite, Dr. Brian Greene. I loved his calculus classes, just listening to them. If you can prove or demonstrate an understanding, a deep understanding, and a competence in that particular field, or competency in that particular field, people will pick you up. Granted, the college classes are harder, but comparatively, you spend way less time than regular school. Well, and you also have to consider that they're more difficult, but they're not that much more difficult. Excuse me, that was bad grammar. They're not that much more difficult. Consider for the average bachelor's degree, you need 4 years, right? 2 years for associates, 2 more years for bachelor's, right? A couple more years, 3 to 4 more years for a master's degree, and then another 2 to 3 years for a doctorate, depending on what your doctorate is in, and depending on how skilled you prove yourself to be. You go to college, let's assume for the bachelor's degree portion, right? You go to school for effectively 1/3 of the amount of time that you go to primary school, or your primary classes, your K through 12. That would mean that college classes comparatively would have to be 3 times more difficult, but you're an adult by that point in time, so they really aren't 3 times more difficult. They're comparably difficult to the level of knowledge and learning that you've attained at this age, that the average person has attained at this age, right? It pushes the boundaries ever so slightly, but they're not ridiculous. Some classes are, but not most of them. There's a lot of the article that I was reading though was effectively saying that a lot of places are accepting demonstrative skills. So if you are able to demonstrate yourself being good at whatever the thing that they want is, for example, coding. LinkedIn, I think, has courses on like leadership and business admin and such. Google has free courses on coding, learning different systems from Python to C++. And again, like I said, Harvard's putting a lot of their stuff actually online, so you can learn and study on that. If you have the wherewithal to do that free of charge, and can find places to apply that free of charge, like an internship, for example, a lot of companies will forego the actual paperwork, and they'll do it. So it does show the specialization in that particular field, but in most colleges, your first few years are spent learning the core classes in the college level 1. Like, you haven't just done that in high school. Well, yeah, that's kind of what it is. It is a little bit of remediality, but the thing is, the specialization portion of it, yeah, exactly. It doesn't come in until later. Arguably, I would argue that even associates and to some extent some bachelor's degrees are still not really highly specialized. I know that that's the intent, but I would argue that they're not highly specialized. They are an amalgam of core classes presented to you with slightly more advanced concepts, and then a couple of specialty classes thrown in. I don't think you really I don't think you really get to the specialty part almost until you've hit the doctorate level. I would say almost I'd say at the master's level perhaps, but certainly when you've hit the doctorate level. That's what I would say. because obviously you don't want somebody to go in and just perform surgery on you all willy-nilly without paperwork behind it. But at the same time, it's like, well, you don't want to know how they know, but if a guy proves himself to be really good at just doing that, then that would be a really interesting concept. Case in point, Jack the Ripper, right? Jack the Ripper may or may not have actually been a doctor, was absolutely a murderer, so that's not a good thing. But the key note behind Jack the Ripper as a murderer was that he was shown in his extraction of certain organs of ladies of the night, which were his primary targets, if not his only targets, to have a surgeon's precision. So let's assume for the sake of argument that this same individual was not formally educated and was able to demonstrate that and was able to be rehabilitated, let's assume, because these are really big positive assumptions, because we're talking about full rehabilitation of a murderer. That would be a person that you might say, oh, well, this might be a surgeon that I'd like to have on my side. No, he doesn't have the paper saying it, but we have several case studies where he's been demonstrated to have absolute precision in the removal and the replacement of particular organs, entrails. Please forgive the mass amounts of wind that are out there, if you can hear those kind of brushing through. I have the window open because this room, again, when I'm running all of the equipment, gets pretty hot, pretty unpleasant, in fact. And I leave the window cracked and the wind is kicked up, but if I shut the window, the sound might not be as polluted. But the room will also be sweltering in the least positive way. But I say all of that, just jumping topic to topic, to say this: congratulations, that is a phenomenal achievement. It is not an achievement that everybody accomplishes, and I've heard a lot of people who kind of undermine the accomplishment of going through high school and learning things, and I think that shouldn't be undermined at all. I think that shows a consistency, a willingness to do what needs to be done, and it shows a competence. It shows a competency in the core fields, very important fields. My hope from here for you, and of course, this is if your value system is different than, or your parents' value system, by extension, whomever you decide to espouse the viewpoints of. My hope is for you that you intend to use those skills and to maintain those skills, because we live now. When I was in school, even when I was coming out of school, you didn't have cell phones. You didn't have cell phones. You didn't have smartphones. You weren't doing any of that. And it was one of the funny things, you'd go to. People would be in math class. What are we going to? They say, "What do you think? You're going to have a calculator in your pocket the whole time?" Didn't realize we were going to have something, infinitely more powerful than the calculator at all times. That also has a calculator on it. But now I've gotten to the point of where I sit there and I go, "Yeah, I know we have a calculator, but let us show our usefulness." AI, we're at a point where AI could do many of our jobs just as well as we could, specifically jobs that require things like math and English and science and such, because they have the ability to access all of human history, all of human knowledge much more quickly than we can, and draw conclusions just as quickly, if not more quickly than we can. My ask is that you take as much of that as you possibly can and leave it manual. Try not to absorb into the automatic. I'm not saying don't use AI at all. I'm just saying show your utility with the things that you feel like are uniquely you. Do you think that more job interviews should include a physical demonstration of skills instead of just resume showing and question answering? Absolutely. I don't mind. So let me be specific on that. So I'm not going to specify. I'm not going to give any specifics in this, but I'll talk about a unique space that I'm in. So I'm currently working a job. I've worked this job for years, and I enjoy the job, and I like the people for the most part. I mean, it's insofar as I have to, and I do the job well according to the metrics, not just well, but very well, and have done it very well for a while. I've been commended for different various things within it, so I've proved that there is some valuation to my skill set, some unique value that I bring to the table. We had a system launch. And again, I'm not going to specify I'm not going to give any names, any company names, anything. But we had a system launch, and it was a CRM. For anyone who's not familiar, CRM is a customer relationship manager. It's a tool that basically just helps you interact with, understand, schedule your clientele, or to help do that for a company. And it's been a disaster. Whomever launched it, and I know who it was, but whomever launched it did a terrible job. And a lot of people, oh, well, you can't point fingers. Who are you to judge? Judge not, lest you be judged. That's not how the world works. I'm perfectly okay judging. I'm perfectly okay being judged. I'm okay with that. That's just the reality. Whether I judge or don't judge, I'm going to get judged. So it's just, I'm okay with that. So long as it's not arbitrary, right? I'm not going to judge somebody because they look a specific way. But what you can and can't do when you're paid to do that thing, I can judge that. And a lot of the people that were on that team were promoted, and we've had this system and it's in its broken state for 1 year. That's a very, very long time to have a system that has not received, in my opinion, anywhere near the number of improvements necessary to or to get it to where it should be at this point. This 12 to 18 months is a benchmark of near or full completion. We're not even remotely there. So it's why I say that a title, and I encourage this for anybody else. I'm not saying don't be respectful of title. If you're in the military, you don't have a choice, right? Whatever your CO is, you have to respect them. You don't get a choice. That's the way the military works. But when you work in businesses, and especially in businesses where there are dynamic environments where questions are meant to be answered by the plethora of knowledge given from each individual within the company, I encourage you to listen, obviously, and I encourage you to speak wisely. But I also don't encourage you to put stock in the title of an individual. Right? Be respectful and respectable, both. But if you have somebody that is in a position above you, realize that if you know, not if you think, if you know what they're doing is not correct, not in the direction the company wants it, not in the direction that you want it, that a title can be afforded to people for one of usually two reasons, right? Either, number one, a demonstration of skill over the course of time has led them to a promotion, rightfully earned. Or two, a person with a bigger title made a big mistake. I think if you have demonstrations, skill demonstrations, and in some instances, you provide a tool to minimize the amount of error that person with the bigger title can make. And I want to say I'm guilty of that too, right? There was a person. I'm not going to name names again, but this was 15 years ago or something like that, 14, 15 years ago. I hired a person that interviewed incredibly well. They had a lot of great stuff on the resume. They were very charismatic and well spoken. And then they did well for the first little bit, and then eventually it got to be, well, I have an excuse because of this. I have an excuse because of this. I have an excuse because of this. And the person became unreliable. And eventually it didn't work out, right? I made a mistake. I had a good run while I had it, but I didn't have enough information, and I couldn't indeed gather enough information beyond what I had to understand whether or not there would be any longevity for that person. So yeah, I think a physical demonstration of skills would be good. One of the favorite things that I would have, and one of the favorite things that I've incorporated into when I ask a person a question, and again, I don't hire people right now. That's a different job, a long time ago. One of the things that I've incorporated is asking a real question. Maybe it's a question I've just recently solved, but it was a difficult one. Or maybe it was a question that I am currently struggling with, and it's nothing that has any confidentiality to it. Maybe I provide that question to them and see how they answer it. Right? It's not just, what do you bring to the table? Because if I ask you what you bring to the table, your job is to try and tell me what I want to hear in that regard. So you're going to tell me I bring this and that and the other. That doesn't make a difference. What if I ask you the question of, recently, you sound like a good candidate, and I'm glad that I've had the chance to get to know you. Let's see if we can work together to demonstrate some of these skills. Recently, I've had this problem, and I am looking for a long-term fix. If this is the case, and this is the problem, and I'm looking to have it fixed within this time frame, what do you think you would do to help solve that problem? And if they can come back with a cohesive answer, you go, oh, that's wonderful. There's a demonstration. I don't know. I don't think that we value. I really don't. And I know a lot of people will argue with me, and maybe I'm wrong, and that's very possible. But I don't think that we value actual skills anymore. I think we value, and this is not just my company. It's everywhere. We don't value somebody showing that they can do a good job. We value people who talk pretty. We don't value people. We value people who say, and it's the environment that I want to change from, and it's politicking, and I don't just mean governmental, but I mean politicking, business politicking, social politicking. To walk out and to say mistakes were made, and I think that I have so much more. No, I don't think that. I know I have so much more respect for somebody who stands up to me and goes, "I made a mistake," and I've had that happen. I've had good people who do that, but it's like they screw up, and then they come to me and they say, "Hey, just want to tell you, I made a mistake. I did this." I may not like the mistake they made. It may cause me some unrest. But at the end of the day, I go, hey, you owned up to it. You're going to help me fix it. We're going to get through it. Not mistakes were made. I think demonstrations like that are the most important. Those are demonstrations of character. Those are demonstrations of conscientiousness. And I don't think that we encourage those any longer, because it's almost more favorable to foist blame somewhere. And I think, but equally, you should be able to own up to your successes. That's the other side of that coin. You do something well, you should be able to say, hey, I did this, and you should be able to get recognized. My gosh, way to go. Let's see what we can, let's look at, when your reviews come in, let's look at getting you a raise. That was a huge deal. Let's look at your reviews coming in 2 months. Let's, if you'll hang out for me, keep performing, we'll take a look at your, during a mid-year, during an annual review, we'll go ahead and see if we can't get you a raise. That's the kind of stuff that we should be looking at. But we don't. We don't do that, and it's disheartening. It is something that I am fighting actively. So, almost like not wanting to tell a parent you messed up, a fear of getting in trouble. Yeah, but you're exactly right. But extend that little kid mentality to adults who are paid a lot of money. Right, government officials making six-figure salaries, businesses with vice presidents and CEOs, C-level people making 6- and 7-figure salaries, coming up and saying something like, mistakes were made. There was an example. Matthew McConaughey, I guess, was talking, this was, I think, a couple of years ago, but he was talking about running for governor or whatever in Texas. McConaughey is a native Texan. And he was on, I think, The View, and he talked to Joy Behar, and she asked him if he thought he could get elected in Texas if he was anti-gun. And he gives a good answer to her because of what we have, the way that we encourage or discourage things, but it was also a bad answer because we encourage or discourage that. It was the thing about being in, I'm trying to quote it verbatim, he repeats the question, he says, the thing about being in politics is knowing that to give you a straight answer to that question would be playing a game that I'm not interested in playing. it was a poorly worded question, but it also was a loaded question, and so he was discouraged from giving a straight answer. And we should never be discouraged from giving straight answers, right? You know, something like, I'm not anti-gun, my stance is complicated. I'm for deeper controls, but I'm not anti-Second Amendment, or whatever or maybe he is. Maybe it's, I'm not anti-gun per se, I just think we need, greater controls on it. Or maybe it was, I'm not anti-gun. What made you think that? But also, yeah, I mean, there's everywhere that he would go, somebody was going to hate it. We're being discouraged from giving straight answers. We're being discouraged from doing things that make sense, and it's usually in the name of profit, and it's usually in the name of, and I'm not just monetary profit, positions, titles. If you're in a big business, it's better for most people to say yes sir, no sir, and suck up, than it is to actually see change. And the problem with it is everybody, I'm unapologetically egoistic, which is to say I do what I believe is necessary to do the best thing for me, but not at the expense of everybody else either. There's no reason for egoism to be exclusive mutually. Egotism, yes, but egoism, no. And so if I see everybody else is having a problem with it, then it shouldn't be a problem for me to stand up and go, hey, look, it would be better for me to go yes sir, no sir, this, that, and the other. And of course I still yes or no sir, because that's just, this is the South. That's what you do. You provide respect in the form of an honorific yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. But you don't say yes sir when your answer should have been no sir. You say no sir. You show respect, but you disagree. I think the world needs more people willing to do that. And I think it's very, very prevalent in the job force. And this is the reason we jumped onto that, is because this is the job thing. You're going to do whatever you're comfortable doing, and you should. You're a grown man. You need to be able to make decisions for yourself with the help of people that you trust, like your parents, like your family. If you have siblings, like them. You need to be able to develop your sense of business identity with the people that you trust. So, technically speaking, we've spoken, but I am still technically a random stranger on the internet. So I'm throwing something out to the gallery that if you find it of utility, you'll take it and put it in your tool belt. And if you don't find it, I don't take offense to your polite discarding of it. But I'm disappointed because we have, and not we, just companies, businesses, people, but it's something very prevalent in the workforce, and it's something you're going to see. And what you choose to do, how you choose to react, that's going to be up to you, but you're going to see it, is that you're going to see things that inside of the businesses and the companies you're with. And if you never see it, by the way, you're very lucky, and I wish that for you. But I think you will. You'll see people saying, I have a problem with this, I'm disappointed in this, I'm not being treated fairly, I'm not being treated correctly. And you'll see it being a big issue. You'll see it being an issue with many people in the company, not just yourself. If it's just yourself, then it's worth reevaluating your stance. Maybe I thought of it wrong, And you're going to see a whole bunch of people come up and complain, and you're going to see a whole other bunch of people go, oh, this was the greatest thing I ever saw, and they're still having the same problems, and you see that they're having the problems. Whatever you choose, I think what I'm encouraging is whatever with the information that you have, whatever you see in that moment, I encourage you to speak it politely, but clearly. And don't worry about the consequence of it if you are respectful but honest. That's my encouraging. I'm not saying you should go and be rude, and I can be a little firm sometimes. I'm not unaware that I don't have a good social thermometer, let's call it. That I don't read rooms very well. That I don't understand the emotion of a room sometimes. But that isn't necessary in a lot of cases where it's business, because how a business feels they're not considering how you feel. They're considering how much money they're making, how much money you're making for them. It's transactive, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's why I don't feel guilt when I possess and present data that is contrary to their belief, because I want that profitable transaction to continue reciprocitously and ad nauseum, or ad infinitum. Ad nauseum implies a negative. Ad infinitum. So it's just be honest, be respectful, be articulate. And I would encourage, if something is wrong, that you don't let it be wrong for a long time. If you are the reason that it is wrong, admit to it and correct it. If someone else is the reason that it is wrong and it is impacting, confront and help them correct it. If they are your leadership, then respectfully offer to help them correct it. It's hard letting go of that random stranger mentality when I've known someone for a long time over the internet. It does make sense logically, but I think a connection can be made regardless, albeit not as strong or same as a real life connection. No, and I don't want it to sound rude that I'm not. You and I have talked for a while, and we kind of know each other, but at the end of the day, you don't know what I look. Well, I don't think you do. We don't know. I don't know what you look like. You don't know what I look like. You've not seen any results of what I have, apart from what I present myself here. You have no idea who I am off of this. Am I the same person? Is this a persona? And again, you're an adult, but it's one of those things where I have a daughter, right? Again, not far off of your age. I want caution, even as an adult, not even a child thing. This is not me looking out for children. This is me looking out for anybody. I just want people to be careful. Like, I think that there is a such thing as internet friend. I do think that. I think that there is you can be an internet friend or internet friendship, and it used to, you'd write to somebody, it'd be a pen pal. I think that you can build bonds in that way, friendships in that way, or relationships even, or just, conversational relationships, casual relationships in that way. But at the same time, it isn't the same as, maybe you listen to what I say and maybe you have a respect for it because it resonates with you, or maybe you don't agree, or maybe there are aspects of what I say or do that you resonate with and that you like, and maybe there are parts you don't, and we can talk that out, right? This is the form within which to do that, or one of them. It's also being careful, though, just because the internet is such an influential place where people are able to be their most inorganic selves, cultivated in such a way that it seems like they're most genuine and transparent. And I can tell you, and I will tell you this is pretty well who I am off the microphone, but you have no evidence of that, right? And so it's in a lot of cases, the persona that is cultivated online can differ from who they are in real life. And again, you've not seen any of the results of what I've done, save for what I've done on the stream. It's just one of those things where I caution people to, when they make their decisions, defer to what they know first. Defer to yourself. And if you have a good relationship, you trust your parents, you trust your, maybe you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, maybe you have or just a partner in general, whether or not that encapsulates them, right? And you would obviously trust that kind of input first, and you should, if you have that good relationship. That's all I'm saying. I'm throwing stuff out there that has worked for me that you could completely disagree with, or people that who have more experience than you could disagree with, who are similar. So it's just one of those things. But I agree with you. I mean, I don't want to write it off as completely random. Oh, no, you're just some no-name this, that. Of course not. It's just when you're talking about something like when you're talking about giving advice, the internet is such a place where everybody's going to be influenced and to different ways, and I don't want that. The biggest advice that I want to give is become skilled and defer to yourself. What is the thing that they have? This tangential. One moment. Let me adjust my seat here. there's a whole culture on the online right now. It's ridiculous. What is it called? The grind set or something like that. It's like, I wake up at, it's always a competition. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning and then that way I'm in the gym by 5, and you're like, what were you doing for an hour and a half? And then it's like, all right, and I'm in the gym, I'm out of the gym by 8, and you're like, okay, why were you in the gym for 3 hours? And then it's like, all right, and then I'm doing my first, now I'm doing work, and you always see somebody it's always the same thing. I watched these to compare them, and it's, it'll be a guy, and he's pretty jacked, and you're like, okay, 3 hours in the gym, he probably does spend that, but is it really from 5 to 8? Maybe, I don't know. And it's like, by the time I hit 8 o'clock, I'm working, and you see him typing on a computer randomly and setting a cup of coffee down, and you're like, what work are you accomplishing? You're an influencer. Your job is to stand in front of a camera, say something. What are you doing? And then it's like, and then I go to bed at 11. Okay, and you're up by 3:30, so you're sleeping on average 4.5 hours. That's very poor for you. Like that doesn't matter who you are, how tough you think you are. That will wear you down. You need sleep. It's that whole community. Let me see. Hold on. I want to find something. There were a couple of quotes. I really want to find this. There were a couple of quotes that were given, and they were hilarious. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this. It's like, what do they call them? Let's see here. I don't even know what I say grind set, but I don't even know what it is. What is it? Sigma, alpha male Sigma grind set mentality, apparently. Hold on. Okay, I want to figure out what the heck it is. Anyway. Of course, everybody has to make it in a... video form. Nobody wants to read anymore. Oh, well, anyway. I like to use the grind set as a joke, but it can get really unhealthy really fast if you do it wrong or for the wrong reason. Yeah, so work hard, right? So conscientiousness, right, which is the desire to do something completely and to do it well. I completely agree with. But the thing that there are a couple of things like alpha male or whatever. All right, let's go into this. So they're using alpha male, beta male, whatever. They're using it as like a wolf pack, right? Fun fact for anybody who wants to talk about, nature for a minute, is the alpha male in the wolf pack still loses almost 10 out of 10 times unless he's in the wolf pack. That's the whole thing. A wolf pack is a pack. It's a group. They're strong together. Wolves are not particularly threatening by themselves to almost anybody. I mean, there are some small vermin that they can take on, but individually, a wolf is a big dog, and they're fairly easy to take down. If you're a human, they're fairly easy to take down. It's the pack part of it is what makes them dangerous. So where your hierarchy is within a pack isn't all that relevant. You're still part of the effective pack. You still get fed. That's the first thing. Let's see. Those words sound so wrong coming from your voice, LMAO. Just this serious voice saying brain rot words. I know, they're terrible, terrible words. They're so poor, but it's the only way that I can describe it that colloquially everybody kind of snaps to and understands. Oh, I know what they're talking about. I hate it. Hey Ash, how are you doing? I hope you're doing all right. Hope you're doing well. I hit 449 games in my GOG thing. The GOG has been on this ridiculous sale, and they're like 90% off. So there are games, great games from the past that I've played in past and I want to own again, and they're like 99 cents. So I've got like so many, and then you get them for free with Prime. So like, man. Talking about alpha male sigma grind set. I don't know what that means. It's a group. I guess it's a group of. The best way I can describe it is it's a group of people online who encourage people to do ridiculous. Go to work, go to the gym for 17 hours a day. That kind of mentality. Yeah. It's one of those. It's those guys. Those types. Those people. I don't know what else to call them. That's I think what they call themselves. But yeah. So the point I was making is that alpha generally is referring to a wolf hierarchy, right? If it were Kyle Hill, I think, said this, but if it were referring to radiation, an alpha male has low penetration power, so you would want to be a gamma male, because gamma radiation is the dangerous one. It just really depends. So it's really interesting for me, firstly, to hear, especially when I'm talking about a wolf pack, it's really interesting for me to hear alpha and sigma and all this. It also is interesting for me to hear all of that from people who don't even know the Greek alphabet. That's where these letters come from: alpha, omega, sigma. These all come from the Greek alphabet. So you might be able to tell me what an alpha, beta, omega, sigma, you might be able to tell me what those are. Can you tell me what a mu male is? What about an epsilon male? What about an epsilon male? Right? You have a bunch of people who have big muscles, and they think that, and don't get me wrong, I'm a big guy too, but some of these guys are just jacked. They're on gear, so to speak. They are seething syllables through trenbolone acetate breath, which is a heavy performance. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at hype. Yeah, so that's Kyle Hill, and I thought that was a brilliant. I don't know if he was the one that I think posted it. I don't know if he was the one that conceived it, but yeah, in radiation, alpha has a low is relatively low in terms of penetration. Beta actually has a higher penetration rate, and gamma has the most. So you'd want to be a gamma male if you're talking about efficacy and radioactivity. You'd want to be a gamma male. Just one of those things. Retro chat, there's something extremely important, more important than catching up on the Star Wars films and recent Doctor Who developments, more important than the alpha male discussion thingy, more important than my health, probably. The important thing is, would you like some toast? Oh, hi. Hey, Viddy, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I hope you're feeling better. I hope that you have some stuff on the upswing, and no, not more important than your health, of course not, but I appreciate the offer of toast. Could I eat it? I would, absolutely. The internet has ruined me. It's an interesting thing. It's one of those things where it's like, these are guys who are successful because they are the best liars. They've sold you on, not you specifically, but cumulatively. They've sold you collectively on, I have big muscles, and I'm decently handsome, perhaps, and I have a big house, maybe, and you want to be like me, so you're going to buy a course where I'm going to tell you how much you suck and the reason you can't be like me. And it's a ridiculously venomous cycle where the men generally are either one of two things: not as successful as they say, or they are as successful as they say because of their predation on vulnerable, unconfident people. And so either way, it's venomous and just absolutely worthless. A little better maybe. I don't know, but I just woke up and I'm seeing how you're all doing. We're doing all right. I've been really busy. We're gonna play some more Celeste today, and then I'm gonna make an announcement on what my intent is moving forward. Not changing the channel, just moving forward with the games and the game schedule. What I'm gonna try and do, that kind of stuff. But yeah. But otherwise, doing okay. Feeling a bit sick and fatigued lately, but I'm a bit better now. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that you are feeling a little bit better. I hope that everything is. I hope the uptrend is continuous and definitive. Let's say. But yeah, it's a whole group of people that are effectively the worst kind. And I'm not saying that to be. Everybody always uses the word predator as a bad thing, right? When you think about it, when you think of a predator, you usually think of somebody who preys on, women, children, sometimes even men, depending on, when we're talking about predator, we are, at the end of the day, in one way or another, we are predators. We are not predators against ourselves. We are predators to animals that we eat. We're predators to, we're not technically apex predators because we don't eat everything we kill. And it's, but in the hierarchy of things, we are considered what they kind of are calling hyper apex predators. That's not any individual one of us. That's the whole species. And it's just because we are so currently, inventive and intelligent collectively that we can overcome almost any challenge that comes against us, and there's no other species, no animal out there that seems to be able to match that. There was what is the popular internet thing now? It's ridiculous. Let's see. I'll have to rewind the stream lately to sort of see what the alpha male discussion was about later. No, oh, it's okay. We were just basically I was talking about how ridiculous this culture and how pervasive this culture had become online. That I find it's laughable. I had found no person that has ever been on there that has given these, kind of, that I've looked at and been like, I have great respect for you. And it's just like, okay. Yeah. We're talking a bit about the hunter-gatherer aspect of RP. We were talking a bit about how it seems like that there are groups of people, and more individuals, I shouldn't say groups of people, but there's an internet culture now where people, and particularly it seems to be men, but there are certainly women in this sphere, I guess, also, who believe in this hierarchy within, I guess, within just the naturalness of men. The alpha male, the sigma male, and there's this definition of this. Now, bearing in mind, there are almost 8 billion people on the planet. Roughly 50% of them are men or boy. And there's no, as far as I know, genetic composition, genetic predisposition to being alpha, beta, whatever. And these are by men who have competitions on who can sleep the least. Basically, getting up at 3:30 in the morning, going to bed at 11 at night, grinding all the way through, which of course they're absolutely not, right? Because every time you see videos of them, they're wearing a suit out at a drinking function event, whatever. It's ridiculous. And so I was just kind of diminishing that culture and just ridiculousness of it. I sort of have a bit of an idea of a story on the internet culture discussion, whatever the sort you're talking about. Yeah. Whether the story should be a film or book or something, I don't necessarily know yet. I mean, honestly, I would love, and I'm sure there are, I haven't seen any myself, but I would love there to be a book that is either completely satirical to, or completely contrary to this whole alpha male grind set thing. I want to be very clear. I'm very much for people working hard. I think you should. I think you should work hard to do well. I think you should also aspire to have good work-life balance. I think you should aspire to have good experiences that are not work-related. That you should, because you only live once, and you do not live to work. You work to live, right? You work so you can make enough money to survive. Your job, your sole purpose after being born is not to work. So when you go to work, know that you are doing the best job you can to make the most that you can so that you can take it and use it for yourself, your family, whomever. But keep it in perspective that balance is the key. Keep a balance. If you want to be one of those people who figures out something, works really hard for the first 10, 20 years, happens to figure out how to become a millionaire, and then is able to relax for the next 60, wonderful. But the odds are against you. So just a 9 to 5, good 9 to 5, that pays well, argue for good pay, do your absolute best, give them nothing less than that, demand their absolute best, take nothing less than that. Take what you make, spend it on taking time with your family. Easy. Easy. I was laughing at penetration power early because my mind is in the gutter. You have to think about that, though. I mean, if you wanted to push it to most of the alpha males, they'd probably have the same reaction. That's probably what they'd probably get angry because they would understand it the same way. When people say penetration, I don't understand why. I never have understood why that word automatically goes to a gutter thought. For me, there are so many things, so many applications for that word that are not inappropriate. And I've used them, but in the case of obviously radiation, it's not inappropriate either. But in this case, that particular double entendre, should it be intended, is purposeful to insult those gym bro guys. I definitely need to find a better balance overall in life. Balance is ridiculously crucial. If I could tout one thing in life that I think is the most important, it would be balance. Because you don't get to live 1,000 times, as far as I know. I cannot guarantee that you don't, but all I can guarantee is at least you live once, and you may only live that one time. And if you only live that one time, then you would want to make that time as much yours as you could. You don't need it to be your boss's. You don't need it to be an abusive or over-affectionate spouse. And by the way, I'm going to be very clear. There's a difference between affectionate and clingy in an appropriate way. And people use the word toxic. That's what I'm talking about, I guess. I hate that word because I feel like it's lost all meaning. But someone who is effectively bringing you down. My spouse, my wife, is wonderful, right? I don't have any complaints about that at all. But there are people that get in a relationship. My point is, minimize those interactions. You're not going to be able to avoid them. It's going to be impossible. If you avoid them the whole life, you're an anomaly, and that's wonderful, and I'm happy for you. But avoid things. You're going to fail, right, to avoid those things at first. So the best thing to do is recognize it and then work to avoid them. Live your life as much as you can for you and those whom you wish, or for who you wish to dedicate your time and efforts. And at the end of your time, if you look back and you say, I did that, then I would say you probably will be satisfied that you've lived a good life. If you look back and you say, I spent most of my time working for a company that didn't appreciate me, or I was with a person that didn't love me, or I gave advice or spoke and took advice from people who didn't care about me, that's where the true failure comes in, right? Take advice, if I can do it, do what's good for you. And that's why I encourage anybody who even takes my advice. Take my advice and do with it what you will. Do what's going to work for you. If my advice is bad and you don't like it, or it doesn't work for you, discard it. Do what's going to work for you. I'm going to provide it, and then if you don't want it, that's okay. I'm not offended. The English language is still kind of weird. This discussion of the word penetration being an example. It is. It's really an interesting, because in business you might use something like market penetration, and it cannot be an inappropriate word, because otherwise it would become an HR or a P&E issue, a P&C issue. And so, it's surprising how frequently when you say that word, it will pop up as an inappropriate word. It's kind of a fun thing. Video is alive, yeah. In fact, talking about talking or exchanging words about words is interesting. It makes one alive. Wait, me? I've regenerated. Dang it! What is this new form? I like that line. English is definitely weird. Slang is being made every minute, and words that didn't even have double entendres in the past do now. I don't like slang. I never have liked slang. I'm not inclined to use it. I don't like the way that the words sound. Personally, I don't have anything against people who do. It's just I don't like it. But the theory that I have on that is that we are regressing linguistically, and I mean this both in written and spoken. We are linguistically reducing ourselves back to hieroglyphics and languages. And we were listening to, my wife and I were watching a thing where we were listening to an Indian chef cooking this jasmine fried rice. It was just beautiful. And he's speaking in Hindi. And there were English words. I'm not going to say the word because it's my wife and most people's least favorite word in the English language. But synonymous with damp, let's say. That word, he would speak Hindi, and you could hear the Hindi, and then when he would say that word, it was the English pronunciation of that word because it was the English word. And it's like, so we went from languages that didn't even have that word, and so they use the English word in Hindi, a language that is super old. One of the oldest recorded languages is what's it, Tamil or something like that. You have the hieroglyphs, and you have like Tamil and all these. Anyway, one of the older languages, not oldest, but older languages. And it wasn't ridiculously articulate, so now we've invented new words that help encapsulate that. And Germany's, again, really good at this. Germany does this better than almost anyone. The words are long, but they encapsulate such a deep concept. English does it decently well. Germany does it better. But now we're getting to the part where cap means like 5 different things. It can mean something you wear on your head, something that you put on the end of a pipe or to stop the flow of something. It can mean to shoot someone. It can mean to lie. It's all context-based. That's a regression. We have so many words we can use. So now anyway. And then now people are using emojis 90% of the time. They're not even sending complete sentences. They're auto. And it's like we're regressing to hieroglyphics again. We're regressing our languages. I'm not saying that other languages aren't beautiful and wonderful. I'm saying that same thing. I'm saying don't let smiley faces and thumbs up replace your language, whatever your language is, whether it be English, whether it be Hindi, whether it be French or German, or whether it doesn't matter what your language is. Don't let emojis or emoticons, don't let that replace your language. Speak your language well. Language is beautiful. All of them are really pretty. I haven't yet heard a language that I don't like the sound of in one way or another. Let's see. What are we talking about? I was talking about the regression of language. These are job interviews for the Retro Room. Alpha male, etc. Discussion complete with work-life balance and misunderstanding the mindset. This mindset plus language. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. The job interviews Retro Room and I have to offer job you're offering, but the question is, what is it really offering something? Do we philosophize about this? Well, yeah, you could. You could philosophize about offering in its substantiation, I suppose. Let's see. No, not at all. Yeah, that's the word, Ash. That was the word. It's not to my ears either, but it's my wife's least favorite word ever. Anything that has that OI sound in it. Instead of ointment, perhaps salve would be preferable, etc. Big Dave England created the English language. Not a lot of people know that. Yeah, that's what happened. If she goes back and reads this chat, she's not going to be happy. You should hear how people talk in London brain damage speech. Well, I've not heard every person, so let's be very clear. But I have heard a more classical London accent. Yeah, exactly. So things like that, LOL, LMAO, ROF, I don't even know what some of those are. And then the emoticons down at the end there, it's like, if you want to use them to add flavor text or to be adorable for this, that's fine. Don't let them replace language. Don't let them replace complete sentences. People don't even know where to use commas these days. People don't know where to use semicolons. And it's just one of those things where it's like, and people don't read. They're not good readers anymore. I'm reading through this very quickly, so obviously I'm not doing that. But I have books. I go through I probably read depending on if you include audiobooks, I probably go through at least 2 or 3 books a week. I love to read. We have so many books. I'm reading again through Star Wars and Philosophy Part 2, the second book, because I wanted to digest it a little deeper. I'd gone through it the first time. And it's like, that is something people don't do anymore. They can't do it. They don't have the attention span for it, or they want pictures. It's like, yeah. But he always sends thumbs up when I talk to him. I've got the hint by now. French is awful. I think the French language is pretty, but I do have a preference, right? International French, which is spoken very much in the nasal passages, a lot of the words, I'm less a fan of than I am of Cajun French, which actually has the old, you roll your letters. Je parle français, right? The reason I'm told, I don't know if it was true, but the reason I'm told was that when people were exiled from France to Nova Scotia and to New Brunswick, the king, after that time, had a speech impediment, so he couldn't roll his R's, so he had this nasally way of pronouncing it, and so to avoid punishment, everybody else adopted saying it the way the king did, so they didn't get punished. Whereas the people that were exiled, which ended up in Canada and ended up in Louisiana, they spoke it the way that it used to be spoken, without fear of reprimand from the king, because they were no longer within the king's domain. They had been exiled to other places. So there's actually the rolling part of it, which makes sense because French is a Latin language. Almost all of the other Latin languages roll their letters. So French is the weird one that doesn't, probably because that was what had happened. That's only my understanding. I could be wrong. And they say media literacy is going down. Well, yeah, true. So do I get the job? You have the job, Viddy. You absolutely do. But I have to say, your little guy there isn't here. He will have to show up for work. It takes away from philosophy, too, because they're simplifying concepts that aren't supposed to be. I heard an argument against this, and I agree with you, but I heard an argument against this saying that the reason that philosophies are now, quote-unquote, oversimplified is because they are now hyper-specialized. And so we find ourselves focusing on the kind of sharpened tip of the blade more than we are on the brunt of the blade. And I agree, while I agree to some extent that that's the case, I think we have weak foundations for a lot of these kind of more ethereal questions that we aren't yet ready to kind of evolve to the point of. We need to make sure that the tang of the blade is well set within the hilt before we decide we want to go up and start to sharpen the blade even more deeply. Oh, the typical stereotype Londoner is fine. It's the wave. It's the new wave of English language that I speak here now. It's mental. I haven't heard that, so I will. If you have an example or examples of that, I would listen to it. I have not heard that. Typical Londoner is what I was thinking of. So I mean, I'll take your word for it. You're definitely you're definitely more an authority of that than I would be, certainly. Oh, the simplifying of language doesn't help philosophy. You mean it doesn't help? Well, it doesn't help anything really, because you have to consider that we are asking for. We're in an area where there's so many that we've gotten so good. Here's kind of the pattern. This is a pattern of anything. You start off clumsy with it, and this is language, this is systems, business, life. You start off kind of clumsy, and the first, let's say third of it, you start off kind of clumsy. You realize that there are mistakes, there are gaps, there are things that need to be filled, words you need to develop, and then in the middle, you get good at it, but there's still things you could be using. You're using about 85% of it correctly, and then after that, you're realizing, we still have some gaps to fill, but they're not as bad as they were prior. Maybe there are some words that are a little more versatile than we thought. Maybe there are words that are less versatile than we thought. Maybe there are vestigialities in their letter structure. So, for example, work was originally spelled with an E. Both been spelled W-E-R-K as well as W-O-R-K-E in Shakespeare. I think it was W-E-R-K. But you'll see it both ways in old. Same thing with ye old, right? Ye was that Y is not a Y. That's just we got sloppier and sloppier at drawing the letter thorn, which is a Germanic letter, which means TH. So it's always been the old. It's not ye old, but we got sloppier about drawing the letter thorn, and then it became a letter Y. And so anyway, and then the last part, you get to the point of where you're so proficient at it that you start to abuse it by becoming less proficient at it, which is just an ironic thing that happens almost all the time. And so now we're in a point where language is as concise and articulate, or has the tools to be, as it can, and yet now we're using and abusing it. We're abusing it more, using it less, in a time demanding more transparency and with the ability to afford more transparency. And philosophy, which is already ethereal, needs some level of solidity. Philosophy is an ethereal concept. Solidity is what you look to find, but it's not something that's easily found in philosophy, inside of the topic, is what I mean to say. Language, however, is fairly solid, or it should be, at least. It shouldn't be remarkably fluid. And the way that we use that should be a foundation that we can offer to the ethereal nature of philosophy. I was trying to say those 3 words all at the same time. 4 words, I guess. I'll be listening to the Star Wars audiobook in June because I won't be able to take it with me on my trip to Europe in July, August. That's all right. There's no worries. I got it for you to do with what you will, when you will, so no worries. They made a part 2, and that's the one I'm reading through again, called Star Wars and Philosophy Strikes Back, and it's really good. It just came out, I think, in 2021 or 22, and I bought it this year. I read through it quickly, and just, it was like, should you eat Baby Yoda, and little, should clones have free will, little things like that. But anyway, wonderful little snippets of just Star Wars lore. And that let me go ahead and, I guess, jump into that. I'm going to be playing Celeste today. I don't know. I know that there's a Chapter 8 and a Chapter 9. I know that they are DLC. I know that they're ridiculously hard. I want to finish the story of Celeste, and then I want to take a break from Celeste. And I want to play a Star Wars game. I've been wanting to play a Star Wars game again for a long time. I think what I want to play is Jedi Survivor, if anybody has no objections to that. I kind of want to just nerd out on Star Wars for a while. I love Star Wars. Andor Season 2 has been awesome. I've been listening to the music like crazy because I always do. I just love, if I really have to zone into something, if I'm developing something, working on something, I love to zone into just listening to the episode 4 on audio in the background. I already know it line for line, so it's not a distraction. It's just one of those things where to hear the old music again. I really want to play a Star Wars game again. So I hope you guys will all forgive me. Finish my Celeste. I will come back and do the challenges, but I just finished the Celeste story, and then I want to take a break and play Star Wars and nerd out, and hopefully you guys will nerd out with me. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And then we'll go back into, something else after that. We can either go back into some challenges. We may go to some Celeste challenges. We may go to some A Hat in Time challenges. We may change, we may just change directions altogether. But I thought it'd be fun. So that's what I was going to ask. I hope you guys are, but hope you have fun on your trip. Cheers. I'll mainly be in Berlin because my older brother there is there, and my niece. Wonderful. Well, I do hope you have a fun time then too. Obviously, I can't stand England. It's an embarrassment now. I'll be getting out of here as soon as I can. Where would you go? I'm just curious, Ash. America is pretty embarrassing too right now. I love America and I love Americans. I'm not a fan of our government right now. And I'm not speaking about individuals. The whole thing is screwed. There are individuals that have done individual things I don't like also, but it's a little bit more embarrassing. I love America. I want to be very clear. I love America. There we go. I love America. I'm not ashamed to be American. Not at all. I'm very proud to be American. I like our Constitution. I like the amendments that we have made. And I think the thing that I'm most embarrassed about is that we have people that are actively fighting against that right now. And some of you will have some ideas about who I'm talking about, but it's not just one person, it's a lot of people. And that's what embarrasses me, is we did a great job. And I'm not saying that there aren't some flexibility, that we should afford here and there. And obviously, we've got modern problems that weren't really thought about back then, or weren't major problems back then that we have to worry about. But we're trying to undo stuff we've already done a good job of getting situated. That's what's embarrassing to me. I'm proud to be an American because of what we had and the progress we can make. I'm embarrassed because we've chosen to just take all of that progress to a complete standstill right now and say, Anyway, I'll be catching up on my Star Wars films, least of all today. I've started reviewing them briefly on Discord again. Oh, that's wonderful. Star Wars, such a fantastic franchise. Disney has done a good job with some of it and a terrible job with the other. As far as the silver screen stuff, I like Solo. I do. I like Solo. I like Rogue One. I don't like 7, 8, and 9 very much. But Andor 1 and 2, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, even Book of Boba Fett, kind of, not as much. I really like all those. Didn't care for Acolyte. Skeleton Crew's cool. So all of that, really neat. But the classics, oh my goodness, and the video games have been so good. Outlaws, I know, got a ton of flack. I've had so much fun with that game though, so I'm not gonna. I bought it on disc. I bought it the digital because it was on sale, and then Walmart was clearancing everything, and Outlaws was like $20, and I was like, yeah, I want the disc, and most of the game is on the disc. And I'm very much physical media. I want most of my stuff on the disc. I want it on GOG, or I want it on cartridge, whatever it is that I'm getting it on. And same thing. We got Split Fiction. My wife and I celebrated our anniversary. It was on Wednesday, but we celebrated it yesterday. And we went out. We went out to a movie. Went to watch Until Dawn, which was pretty cool, pretty fun. And then we had. We went to go pick out like little gifts for each other, kind of did this little antiquing thing. It was kind of fun. And then took her to a really nice restaurant for dinner, and went out and got her some nice dessert, and then bought Split Fiction to come back and kind of play together as a couple, which is so I thought it was really fun on Ash's recommendation, of course. And it's just so cool. They gave it 2 discs with the Split Fiction game, so some people are putting the games on the disc anyway. Sounds like a good plan. I do recommend Lego Skywalker Saga. I do have it, and I'll never be out of a Star Wars mood, so Survivor shouldn't take me long. I may go through Survivor, and then I may just jump straight into Lego Skywalker Saga, because I do have it. I have the deluxe edition, or whatever it is, the Skywalker edition, the biggest edition. I have it with all the stuff. I might do that. I'm not afraid. I'm not okay with that. I'm afraid. Be not afraid of Jedi Survivor. You must. Important. I can't do Yoda's voice. I'm sorry. Important to the Force it is. Yoda, I told you, don't take over this shit. Nice. I wonder how many times Yoda has been kicked over. Canonically, probably not very much. Me and the other half have some choices we're considering. Okay. All right. Cool. English is a joke, and our Prime Minister is an absolute embarrassment. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I can. Yeah. I don't disagree. Did you guys hear that Bungie stole their complete art style for their next game, Marathon? Joke of a company. They stole it? I didn't hear that. That's ridiculous, though, because Bungie... Wait, hold on. Bungie was the company that originally made Marathon, though. That was where Halo came from, and then Marathon... Isn't it? Maybe I'm making a mistake, but that was my understanding. I mean, if they stole it, then that's ridiculous. That's stupid. But yeah, Empire Strikes Back still good. I enjoyed it so much some days ago. Oh, it's my favorite of them all. They claim it was some assets, but the whole game has that look. They're a joke. That's ridiculous. Then yeah, I'm not a fan of that. If that's the case, then I'm not a fan of that. I didn't know that. I have a little connection to Bungie, to be honest. I have a little connection to be honest, other than playing a little Halo and stuff. Classic Bungie I loved, but yeah, no, today that's ridiculous. Congrats, by the way. I know I said that before. Hope you had a great... Oh, we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was really nice. It was very sweet. Can't do a Yoda voice. Some Star Wars fan you are. Yeah, no, sadly, that's one of the voices I cannot do. Go look at old Marathon. The reboot looks like nothing like the old one. I'll go take a look at it. Yeah, I mean, I believe you if that's what you said. That's ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna be kind of quick. I do think I'm kind of close to the end on this. I don't know if I am. I'm gonna jump over to the game real quick. I think this is the right screen. I never get it right the first time, and indeed did not break that streak this time either, did I? There we go. Multiple employees were following the artist that they stole from. They're idiots. Good lord. My throat was beginning to dry, so my apologies. Yeah, if no one's Siren Ivy is very sweet. I've watched a lot of her streams lately. My wife is a sweetheart. She is. You will not hear me say, well, at least I hope you never do. If you do ever hear me saying it, please correct me. But you shouldn't ever hear me saying anything bad about her. She's an absolute sweetheart. She got a little, And she's real cute. She's got a little, I'm not the same way, but she's got her little bunny ear headphones on and doing her little thing. And she's like, yeah, she's a sweetheart. And Retro said he couldn't do a Yoda voice, but it's all right. In fact, it's a gas. But I appreciate that, Fighting Max. But yeah, if everybody's okay with me, I think I'm going to finish this game up here, if this is indeed the end. And then I think I'm going to jump in next week with Jedi Survivor. And then I think maybe after Jedi, because I have Star Wars games for days. Let's be very clear. I have every Star Wars game that has been ever. So, I mean, I could literally play Star Wars games every single day for the next couple of years without repeating one. But I think what I will do, maybe do that. Maybe we'll do some Jedi Survivor, because I feel like that's really good. And then I maybe jump into the Lego Skywalker saga, the complete saga, rather. And then maybe we'll jump out of that and go into something else, if no one's bothered by that. She banned me from her. She didn't. Bunnies aren't just cute like everyone supposes. Well, Siren Ivy Bunny is. She's adorable. I think she got bothered by mine and Retro's friendship. Get over it, love. I hope not. Jedi Survivor. This isn't. And a continuation of Celeste. This be. Alright. Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to push this button. And I think we're pretty close to the end. I always have to adjust it a little bit. You'll have to forgive me. I do not remember the controls here. Hold on. She found Ash's Wattpad account? I don't even know what that is. Yeah, Ash, I don't know what that is. Challenge for the next 3 minutes. Everyone in chat has to talk like Yoda. Ready, set, go. 4 out of 10. Celeste is Yoda. There we go. Friendship. It's not, it's us. It's just the darker side of us. So, is it saying we've 28 more markers to go before we... Hold on. What's over here? Okay, I don't know if I understand what I'm meant to do here. Okay. There's spikes up there. There's a heart. Hold on. Yeah, but you can't jump again. Sure you don't. Bringing House, I've been obsessed, possibly season 4. Binging House, I'm sorry. Yeah, House is good. Not much gaming I've been doing. That's alright. I mean, you do what's fun. Though Another Crab's Treasure, I finally did complete. New Game Plus update, it just got free too. Nice. Started doing this thing where if I don't know what something is, or a new trend, or whatever it might be, I just refuse to look it up. I don't need more pointless information in my life. Yeah, that's fair. Yoda speak, that wasn't. Challenge, you have failed. Penetration power, Ash does not have. Ooh. I went right into the spikes. I think what I'm supposed to do is that. Oh, I didn't see that little... Oh, shoot, I missed it. Try too hard, Max. Oh, no. Dang it. Funny and philosophical Max can be. When my hair went blue, I knew I couldn't do that. I needed a dash straight across. Dang it. Whoops. There we go. Okay, we'll just leave the strawberry. I wanted to get it, but we'll just leave it. I need to hit that trampoline. Oops. Let's see. I've heard it's not good. Watch recent episodes. I have. Not good. Yes. Good also. Yes. Both, I guess. Questionable last episode kind of was. To determine more next week. Yes. Ooh. Okay, everyone. Challenge. It's probably pretty difficult to do. In, what is it? King's Quest 6, they have one that speaks like him. They call him the dangling participle. That is not... the way that Yoda speaks is not to dangle a participle, but... I got caught in the one area that I didn't need to. Well, I guess you can also just screw up like that, right? It is difficult because there's the downwind, which does change your trajectory a little bit. Okay. This is where I can tell it's gonna get a little tricky. I wish I could hit that train. Too bad. Sailed on. Also, speaking of house, there's a Philosophy of House book like Star Wars and others have. I'd like to see that. That'd be interesting. Too bad. Do it anyway. Gruntilda's sisters speak like Yoda. Do both of them? I know. I think Blobelda does. The big one. By all means, Max. Trajectory. What is this game in educational now? It could be. Portal has been used to discuss physics. That's true. This game, yeah, this game could also absolutely be a lesson in physics. Certainly. It's very difficult to hit that last little spring. Okay. It's really difficult to understand what the difference is in the, like, boards, though, because it's one continuous flow here. Oh, shoot. Also, that downward wind still. Alright, fine. Is there a lore reason why Yoda talks like a mental case? No, actually, I don't know of one. Because there's also an example of other members of his species, like Yaddle, who is in, she's in episode 1, but she's also in, she doesn't speak, but she's in Tales of the Empire. No, she's not. She's in Tales of the Jedi, the Dooku story, and she speaks clearly. And then also KOTOR has Vandar Tok'er, which is the Yoda character of that time, and he speaks forward also. Even though he has a similar voice to Yoda, he speaks forward. But a lie the cake is, delicious cake is, a lie it cannot be. Armageddon UA says, hey, how far do you want to get after, how far do you want to get after 7th chapter? I'm taking a break from it after we finish, I think the 7th chapter is, story-wise, the end of it, save for like the challenge chapters of 8 and 9. I'm going to take a break from it. I'm going to jump into another game, and then I'm going to I'll play through 8 and 9 challenge chapters kind of intermittently. Welcome in, by the way. Oh my goodness, Portal and Star Wars crossover. Do it. That would be really fun. A game developer, I am not. Do it yourself. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm a game developer. I think my cousin tried RPG Maker once, but that was years ago. Maybe Yoda was just fruitcake who has somehow convinced everyone that he knows what he's talking about. Well, he did. When 900 years old you age, sound as good you will not. Oh, I messed that up. To use the turn of phrase from episode 6. Okay, wait a minute now. How am I meant to do this? Got it. Yoda's a pretty cool character, honestly. There's actually a book called Yoda Dark Rendezvous. Okay, so wait a minute. I'm hitting it at the apex of each jump. Why can I not hit that one? Oops. I don't know why I was having trouble there. Maybe it was just I needed to hit the button faster, I guess? I don't know. Let's see. I remember Yoda talking to little kid students in episode 2. Yeah. So he's a master teacher, is he? Yeah. Yeah. I vaguely remember Yoda stories or something like Game Boy. Was that any good? Not for the Game Boy. I have it. Not for the Game Boy. It wasn't very good for the Game Boy. It was good for the PC. It was fun for the time for the PC. I remember him being annoying in Soul Calibur 4. He was so hard to hit, and yet he was so fast. Yeah, I agree. Soul Calibur 4, no, that's Soul Calibur 4. Yoda was in Castlevania. That'd be a scary kind of notion for. That'd be a scary kind of notion for whomever was deciding to face him. Did not mean to do that. Knew I was screwed the minute I hit that. Let's see. I rewatched the Retro Room stream when I said I liked SC4 OST, and he thought I meant Soul Calibur 4. Yeah, well, I did, because when I think about this, just for a second here, I'll stop to spare you, all of you and myself. No worries. When I think SC4, I know it's Super Castlevania 4, but you have to think about that. Super Castlevania, it isn't Super Castlevania 4. It's technically either Castlevania 4 or it's Super Castlevania 1, even though that's the name. And so when I think about Castlevania 4, I don't ever think of the super part first. It's for me, it's just Castlevania 4. Even though it's really not also. It's just Castlevania 1 remastered, basically, but yeah. Speaking of fighting games, esports and pro players have ruined the genre. Yeah, that is, yeah. I like speedrunners. I still think that's fun. But not, not for, like, I listened to a speedrun of, like, Daggerfall. That was fun. They said a similar thing about Smash Bros, yeah. Devs cater towards a niche crowd of try-hard players rather than fun. Yeah, that's very true. Smash Bros. I just like to play leisurely. NVIDIA, I reconsidered going to tournaments for Mortal Kombat X and Street Fighter V. I'm glad I never did. I miss how old fighting games used to be. I do too. There was a fun part of, well, I talked about this before. I have talked about this before. You get one jump there if you do it right, I think. I like the mystery that used to be in game. Remember when, let's think Mortal Kombat for a second, when Ermac used to just be... Shoot. Ermac was not a character. Ermac was an abbreviated mistake for error macro, and it was just a miscolored version of Scorpion. Or Reptile, or whatever. I can't remember who. I can't remember which one it was. It was Reptile or Scorpion, but anyway, it was a miscolored version of one of them. And then you had your imagination, like, oh, Ermac, he's the red one. And then that evolved to now being where Ermac is like this really cool character, this like sorceress character that's, not the same sorcerer as Shang Tsung or Quan Chi. It's like, oh, this is cool. You were satisfied with just another color of uniform. It didn't matter. Like, the fact that Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Reptile, and Ermac were all the same thing, just different colors, didn't matter. You were just like, ah. And even adults, it wasn't even just kids. It was adults who were like, oh, And now it's like, the character's a palette swap, and you're like, oh, that's not enough. Anyway. Which I find very disappointing. Oh, son of a gun. Didn't mean to do that. You gotta really hug that last crystal tight. That's too tight. Well, now I'm screwed. Son of a gun, I didn't mean to do that. Retro 2025. Yeah, that's pretty well what it is. Tekken 8 is a joke too. Now they're selling the classic costumes in the store for real money. In previous games, those were available to unlock. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. I did used to go to a few very small tourneys for Smash Bros. I won a Smash Bros. 64 one and got a hat and Smash Wii U. I think it only lasted 1 or 2 rounds. If it was 2, that was an achievement, I guess. Yeah, that's difficult. Pretty sure the hat I won was on a Street Fighter themed hat. I still have it somewhere. Going through an arcade mode and finding secret fights was amazing. It's still my favorite thing to do in fighting games, arcade mode. Then you have franchises like Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat who had fantastic modes. Oh yeah, absolutely. I like arcade mode too. I got a bit addicted to Tekken 2's arcade mode, for example. Oh heck yes. Yeah, I loved Tekken 2, Tekken 2 stuff. There, now I have 2 jumps. I was trying to play it wonky. Uh-oh. That's fine. What the heck am I meant to do from here? Oh. Really? That's what they want? Okay. I guess. So now it's getting kind of to the precision of exactly when you press the button. I don't understand though. Like how do I what am I missing? That's what I'm missing. Ah, that doesn't fix anything at all. Anything here? Okay. The cloud hides, ouch. Yeah, no way. I get it though. I see it now. I needed her hold on just a little longer, and she didn't do it, but that's okay. Because she's died, I think, 1,500 times here, so. Aha! Oops. So, come on. Okay. Let's see, hold on. A lot of people say that the Mount DLC in Elder Scrolls 4 is some sort of is sort of the beginning of the gaming downfall. The Mount DLC. It's the same as the Mount DLC was. Are you talking about in the original 2006, the horse armor pack? If you're talking about that, kind of. But I mean, well, as in, yeah, I thought you meant the remake. The remake, I think, had the same thing in the deluxe. I was like, I can't believe I mentioned the Mount and forgot about the remake. I think I might give Elder Scrolls 4 Remake a look if my computer can handle it. It's a lot of fun. It's the same game as the original. So everything that you do in the original, you can do here. But it just looks better, which I think is fine. I keep looking to get it, but I just don't think I'll like it that much. If you like the old one, this one is this one's the same thing. It's better graphics, certainly. If you like the old one, yeah, it's pretty good. I did enjoy what I played of Elder Scrolls 4. Elder Scrolls 4 is my favorite one. 4 is my favorite, then 2, then let's see, probably 4, 2, 3, 5, 1. Let's see, it's been quite a while outside of retro streams of it, so I'll see how I feel about playing it. Sure. I also have 864 games to play. Never make it pressure. I mean, I own a ton of games too, but I'm never pressured. I'm just like, I want to have them, and if, who knows, if I happen to die before I play all of them, I'll just hand them on to someone else who'll play them, and they'll have fun with it. So it's no skin off my nose. Before I played Elder Scrolls, a YouTube video I saw of wrapping the guards' lines together, stop you. I've never seen that. That's funny. She's trying her best, and so are you. Oh, well, thank you. Be one with the character, you mean. That probably explains why, when playing the game, whether let's see, when my character gets hurt. I feel like all of the color has been taken away in the remake. It's not as vibrant. It is still very colorful, but it's definitely not as overexposed, which I think is part of the charm of the original, is that the original was a lot overexposed, but it is still quite colorful. They didn't make it like Skyrim, I think, is a colorless Elder Scrolls game. Personally, I mean, it's not a bad game, but it's a colorless Elder Scrolls game. They toned it down, so it's somewhere between the classic 4 and 5, but I would say it's pretty good in the middle. Imagine a scenario in which she's going through. Let that drive push you forward. Killer Retro. That's funny. Son of a gun. So this is doing that same principle, but backwards. I do hate. That's the end of that sentence. I just hate. They're just they're darker for the realism. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, this is definitely from the ground up in terms of a lot of the like textures and stuff. Dang it. They definitely did some like extra textures and darkened it up a little bit. I would argue that the charm for me of the first one is that it's actually overexposed. Dang it! It's actually overexposed, which makes it incredibly colorful, which I find very charming. So this one does not have that same overexposure, therefore it's not as colorful, but it is still very colorful, especially when comparing to something like Skyrim. Dang it. But I mean, if you don't think you're gonna like I think it's fun, but if you don't think you're gonna like it, then, I mean, I can't tell you you're going to. It is the same game though, ultimately. So if you have the old one, then you're not getting any extra in-game content. If you're enjoying the old one, just enjoy the old one. I've got to really figure out, because it's the problem I've had since the very beginning. I've really just not grasped how to get that up angle thing fixed. Oh shoot! Okay, this is going to be a little tricky here. Yeah, the music of Oblivion is fantastic. Hold on. Nintendo games are still colorful, to be fair. They are. It's common. Yeah, dark for do not kill her. Do not kill her. Well, Retro has killed her countless times. He's supposed to do a no damage run. Oh, I wish I could. Dang doorbells. That's pretty well what it was. Thank you. Thank you for the good job. Oh, you can pull the trigger and it does that, I guess. I love how much of a short-term. I love how much of a short-term memory a lot of gamers have. They were crucifying Bethesda and Todd Howard last year for Starfield, saying they're awful. Now gaming is back because of a remake. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going that far. We just want new things. Who, gamers? I just found it. The guard. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, the thing about it is, I think people think gaming is back because... the remake or the remaster was a reminder of how good gaming used to be. And that not so long ago, almost, just 20 years ago. I think that's why. we have a reminder now of how good games used to be. And that's not the case any longer. I don't think that... So maybe that's... maybe that's why gaming is back, because games used to be really good, and then this remaster was just a reminder. Oh, there's a trampoline there. What am I meant to do? Just trust? Oh, no. I think it's just a reminder of what games used to be, though. If I were to pick games from... Didn't mean to do that. I need to grab onto that little thing there. But I won't have any dashes left if I do that. See, I don't have any dashes left, so I need to be up there with one dash. Every time I hit a spring, I get both dash... Oops. I get both dashes back. So, hold on. How am I meant to do this? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That's the thing I'm talking about that I'm not good at. Is on the thumbstick, they want it's a very fine line between up and diagonal for her dash. And I'm not figured out where that fine line yet ends, so this whole game I've struggled with that, and I've said that much. I don't know if it's a control issue. It may just be a me issue. Oh, that was weird. I grabbed onto the crystal for a minute. See, that was... No, I held that. That was actually in the diagonal position for certain. So maybe my controller's no good. That's... Okay, so I have to hold it a little farther down. Let's try this again. That's not gonna work. Let's see, hold on real quick. Fantastic new games, IP, AAA to AA. Every year some people really do turn a blind eye to fit their narrative. That's true. That's true. I think there are fewer and fewer unique good games coming out every year, but I don't think that they're invisible. I think indie for me has been the biggest one, and retro has been really big. Again, GOG, I've been purchasing retro games that I love that I just get to play again, and I can take them with me if I take a laptop with me. Confusion over game key cards, whether Switch combined with preference towards digital. I'm not getting a Switch 2, if at all, for quite a while. I also think gaming was better back in the day. I just find the crowd of people claiming this is terrible nowadays funny because they won't even try the new games. Yeah, that's fair too. I may have to accept digital for modern gaming. I don't know. Indies are also heavily available digitally. It's going digital with every company. Even if they have the disc, the games aren't on the discs. They're downloaded, Doom and Indiana Jones being the most recent examples. So first party Nintendo. Yeah, let's see. Are still physical, Mario Kart DK. No. First party, they are going to be physical, but they're just downloads. All of them. Nintendo Switch 2 is moving to all, even if you own the physical, they're all just download codes. They're key cards, basically, is what they are. With discs, though, there's a Does It Play is the website. They actually tell you how much of the game is on the disc. So I make my physical purchasing decisions based on that. And then again, I will be completely straightforward with you. I want to own my stuff. So anything that I buy a disc for that I don't have the file, I will go find the file elsewhere, legally or otherwise, and I will download that whole file. And I can make my own disc if I want to. So Oh yeah, no, I agree with you on that. You ever notice I have a tendency to do that? I'll take a break, I'll talk, I'll come right back, I'll nail it in one for no good reason. I don't know why. And then I'll come and fail this 7 times. The new Doom is fantastic, but the fact that the disc is only 86 megs on it is insane. Yeah, that's true. What do you mean otherwise? Well, I'm sorry. You'll have to remind me of the context of that. I'm sorry. I probably just said it, and now I got onto this. Oh, yeah, for that. Yeah. No, so if I purchase, I want to be very clear. I purchase my games. Period. Point blank, period. I purchase my games. But if you have like for example, if I purchase a game, Split Fiction was cool because it came with it was 2 discs. Most of the game is on the discs. Very, very cool. If you sell me, like, for example, Doom Eternal, which I've not bought, and it's got 86 megs on the disc, I'm going to go find I'm going to purchase that game. I'm going to purchase my physical copy of that game, so I have the disc, and then I'm going to go find the ROM that's been dumped of the whole 86 gigs or whatever it is, and I'm going to download those 86 gigs, and I'm going to put them on a multi-terabyte hard drive, and I'm going to keep them. Because when I purchase something, I don't have the right to sell it to other people, but I should have the right to own it. So that's what I mean when I say otherwise. I will purchase the game. I'm not insisting that you do this without purchasing the game. What I'm insisting is that you make copies where you have the full of the file, and a way to play it if someone decided they wanted to take it away from you. Even my cartridges, right? Even my cartridges, I have ROMs for all of those games. I own the cartridges. I have them here, but I have the ROMs for them also. So. I even showed a clip from Season 3 on Retro's Discord. I'm not going to lie, we need more brutal honesty and convos courtesy of... Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Do you take issue with that, Fighting Max? Dang it. Dang it. Better get comfortable not owning your game, so better get comfortable with gamers finding other ways to get it. Yeah, it's exactly the thing. I've said this before. If business practices can become consumer hostile, then I don't see any reason why consumer practices should not become business hostile. Think of the billionaires. I am. Why do you think I'm having fun? Why do you think I enjoy doing what I do so much? I think of the exorbitant amounts of... Now I'm just screwing around you buying the physical copy beforehand. I always buy the physical. I mean, I want to buy the games. Like, I want to support good developers. Let's be very clear about that. Again, I've been a big proponent of GOG because I have all of my games. I own my games. GOG is also really good about making sure, or CDPR is really good about making sure that you're going to own the games that you have otherwise. Baldur's Gate, again, Larian's 2 is 4 discs because they put the game on the discs. I think that's fantastic. But if you put 86 megabytes, by the way, just to be clear, a lot of people say, oh, the cap of these discs are 50 megabytes. It's actually not the case. These are Ultra Blu-ray double layer DL discs, dual layer discs. Most of them have about 100 gigabytes of space before partition, so about 86 gigabytes, not megabytes, gigabytes of space after partition. These Ultra Blu-ray dual layers, which means that there's no reason why most of a game couldn't be put on it. So the problem that I have with it is, if you're only going to put 86 megs on that, you've spent all of that extra money to put the disc out, to still make sure you're spending all that extra money to put a disc out that doesn't mean anything. You're contributing to waste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that as my token to say I've purchased the game. I can prove that I've purchased the game, and then I'm going to download the other stuff. Claire Obscure, yeah. Yeah, I want to get that one physical also. They're actually only selling that one brand new for $49.99, and it looks amazing. It's very difficult to figure out where the heck let's try this. What if I do this and then up and in and then over? Oh no. I bet Ubisoft is kicking themselves now. But he launched it for $49.99. The deluxe edition costs the $59. $60 for the deluxe edition is unheard of because now regular editions are costing $70. How am I meant to do this? If I dash sideways, I dash too far. Have any of you played Destiny? I did. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I own it, and I have played it, but I wasn't a huge fan of it, honestly. Oops. Yeah, I've played. I wasn't a huge fan though, just personally. It wasn't my style. I mean, it's it's a shooter in the style of Halo kind of thing, I guess. But the multiplayer, this and that, and the aspects were like, eh. How in the world am I meant to get... Let's try this with this one. That's what I need to do, kind of, I guess. So I need to do this, up, and then over, and then dash up, and then... Okay, I see, kind of. But it's a very tight window to hit all of that. It's a very, very tight window and a very, very tight margin for error. I got it, but son of a gun. Haha, that's all right. Oh, okay. Son of a gun. Retro has an interesting walkthrough voice. I don't know that this is a walkthrough. This is a how not to play. First try. See, I like it when you have a how do I want to say it? I didn't mean to do that. I like it when there is a like a principle that they're trying to get you to get a hold of. It's like, oh, here we go. So we can see. Okay. This is going to be a bunch of feathers. That's the top. It's not that far away. Well, okay. My thumb slipped. I have big thumbs and they slip off the thumbstick sometimes. I might get Fatal Fury. See, I thought you were going to get that right off the gate. Zero interest in online fighting games. Hopefully that's some good single player. That I don't know. I like fighting games, but I'm not a fighting game aficionado. I am a retro aficionado, excluding fighting games. For the most part, at least, I'd say. Oh, I didn't make contact with the spring in time. The feather parts are kind of the bane of my existence, not because they're not fun, but because I'm not good at them. Not that I've proved to be very good at anything in this, but the other thing is I still don't have the steering down on them. That was almost what I needed. What I actually needed to be was skilled, but I wasn't. Okay, that's not too bad, though. The prep for it isn't as bad. The steering is not very good for me, or I'm not good at it, rather, but the prep isn't too bad. Well, dang. I have to have a dash for that, so I have to have both dashes for that. Actually, whoops. Now, how I grabbed onto that, I don't know. Let's see. And there we go. See? And now... Oh, I have to have both of my jumps for that too. Okay, okay. So the idea of this one is managing your jumps. See, and I had both of my jumps. I just somehow touched the tiniest pixel and killed myself. Haha! I didn't make it. So I need to do a diagonal jump at the end of that. Hold on. Everybody's singing in the comments here. It is still that curve right there is not a. I don't think. I think I'm just steering too. Okay, I already messed up there. Maybe not. Nope, I didn't. I somehow was able to... Okay, well, disappointment. I was able to recover from colossal failure in time to deal with magnificent failure, so... Well, there we go, Celeste. That's what we wanted, is a trip right there. So I need to fall and then see if I can make just two diagonal. I was going to do a side and a diagonal, but I don't think that's going to get me there. So I think I need to do a diagonal and a diagonal. So here, right? Gotta love that. It's fairly unobtrusive, so. So I think I want to do this and then, see, it's very difficult though. That little window is so tight. There we go. That'll do. Oh. Yeah. That was so sad. Ah, okay. She's such an adorable little character. You see a little hair just go, and then she falls down a mountain. Okay, you can actually grab on to some of these crystal areas I'm finding. I wish I knew more about which ones you could and couldn't. I don't know if you're meant to, but I know you can. No! That was so close. Whoops, that wasn't. Later. The stream doesn't even talk to us. What am I paying for? Well, luckily it's a free show, but I'm hyper-focused, so I do apologize. Hey! Retro is so focused on that the lyrics cannot even distract. I don't really... You've said that, and you showed me the song, and I was like, oh, okay, but it's like, my level of familiarity with it is still minimal. So then you guys are doing that, and I'm like, in my head, it's the lyrics are probably going to a completely incorrect melody. No, my apologies. My apologies. It's scrolls. I am super focused on trying to, because we're at number 2 and there are only the number of the things there are. Well, I think that's the nature of anything, right? About $3 per gallon. I'm not sure what that was. Oops. I'm not sure what that was. I'm not going to make it because I can't. Wait, that's £60 for an ASMR bed? I don't think I have a voice for ASMR. Boom. Alright, there. Dang it. $3 per gallon? Is that, I was going to say, is that how expensive fuel is where you are? But I think that's in the, I don't know how gas prices are calculated. Yeah, it's per gallon. You absolutely have a voice for ASMR. I appreciate that. I'm not sure what the quality would be. Somebody said they wanted that I should get into voice acting, but I think it's because to their ears I had a more gravelly voice, perhaps. I could play a bad guy. I don't know what bad guy, but I could play it. You just need to get a directional microphone. I have a directional microphone. That's what I'm speaking into, a directional microphone, am I not? What kind of directional? Oh, you mean like an omnidirectional? Can I? No, I wish I could. I love Hugh Laurie's voice, but no. What kind? Oh, I know what you mean. I get what you're saying. You mean like you mean like a bidirect, like with the ears on either side, a bidirectional microphone. I understand. I apologize. I do not have one of those. That was my fault. I misunderstood you. I do not have a bidirectional, or it's called a figure of 8 pattern. I'm using a Neumann TLM, but I could do that. You could still do that with 2 microphones. I do have 2 identical they're not sonically matched, but I do have 2 identical microphones. The AKG C214s. Really? I have 2 of those that I could set up, one for each ear, and face them outwardly. So I could technically do that. I've never gotten the appeal of ASMR, but people seem to enjoy it. There we go. We actually did it. I can't believe it. Wow, it's so beautiful. The oxygen is so thin right now, I can't even breathe. Look how far we've come. There's a lot of training in breathing, also. Okay, yeah, I know what you're... That was my fault. I misunderstood. I'm using a unidirectional. I'm using a cardioid condenser. I use the... Case in point, I use a Neumann TLM 103. That's the microphone I use. Yeah. I wanted to hear a gravelly Dr. House telling me I'm an idiot for not getting the right diagnosis. Yeah, I wish I could. I'll work on that. I will work on one, though, because I don't feel like I'm that far... I don't feel like my voice is that far off. I feel like I could do it. GG's, thank you. Yeah, so I use a Neumann TLM 103. That's the microphone I'm using. Plugged into a PV80 16 channel. I'm glad I got to see this before I die. Well, before I... Oh, right. When we leave the mountain, you won't be able to talk to me anymore. At least not like this. Yeah. I know that we need to go home eventually. but it'll be scary to lose this body. I think so. You'll still exist, though. You were part of me before we came here. Yeah, I know. But I'm gonna have to depend on you to listen to me. Even if I can't talk to you in person anymore. I just can't go back to how it was before. Before the mountain. Don't worry, I can't go back to that either. I really want us to work together from now on. I believe you. But I'm still nervous. It's a good... I mean, it's fair. It's fair to be. So, now what? Let's just enjoy this for a bit. That's exactly right. Just spend some time with her. A philosophy ASMR would be cool. That'd be an interesting... That would be interesting. I don't know. I'll have to take a look and see what people think about that. That might be something I'd try to do. Or at least I don't know if I'll do the whispering and the tapping, all that kind of stuff. I don't think but maybe something soft, soothing, and bidirectional, binaural. I could probably do. Okay, so I did a little bit more reading. An ASMR, the fact is a point of view monologue from My Name is Emily. That'd be funny. Don't let them trick you into it. I don't know, about binaural maybe. Maddie, or Madeline. ASMR is for freaky odd humans. Maybe. I never understood the appeal of it either, but if people enjoy it, I mean, I'm not going to whisper and do the tapping stuff. There's no way I would feel weird doing that. Plus, I don't like my fingernails touching things, abrasive things. But I wouldn't mind setting up 2 microphones as ears and then speaking into mechanical ears about philosophy, where you actually have the experience of hearing it in the ear, you know, whatever the ear is. I mean, that's fine. That's the same. You don't like this game. That is fair. I don't know about pay, because we don't pay in the first place, but you aren't a fan of this game, which I do find, I mean, you were still here the whole time. I do appreciate you for being here, though, for certain. That's really adorable. Look at that. So they descended the mountain together and had fun, and had the hotel is set back up. Can we go back and apologize to Mr. Oshiro for making a mess of everything? Hello, Mr. Bird. So, yeah, this game, I will say, you already got paid more for being an Australian. You didn't get paid more for that, but he got paid in advance because Australia's time zone is ahead of ours, south of the equator, you know? I'm glad you enjoyed it, if you did enjoy it, though. I hope you did. This was a fun game. I did a little bit of reading, because I wanted to understand. One of the things that was brought out was, like, the character was transgender, and I was like, oh, okay. I want to figure out, like, that's not really something that's said in here. Is that what this is an allegory for? Is this the... And it doesn't seem like that was the intended allegory, at least initially. It seems like that this might have just been a proxy for the... It may have just been a proxy for the maker, which was originally Matthew Matt, now known as Madeline. And that's why if you've ever played Towerfall, which is another phenomenal game by the same maker, it's by Matt Makes Games, and then this one is the same person, but it's Madeline now. So this is kind of I guess this character was kind of a proxy for the real life creator. And maybe some of these struggles were implicit of that. So I think that was interesting. I think it was really interesting, and you know, it wasn't heavy-handed or anything. It was just kind of like, you know, inner struggles and difficulties, depressions, darknesses. It was interesting. Let's see. I'm the doctor. Time zones are strange to humans, but not me. But an amount of physical payment will convince you to stay. Ash actually likes Celeste. This game sucks. I will never like Celeste. I'm glad you all like it. Goodbye, good night. God bless. Hail Satan. God bless. Hail Satan. Hold on. God bless. Hail Satan. I love that. Those three words are in the same sentence. That's funny. Are we gonna go meet the old woman again so we can tell her we've reached? Yeah, there she is. And our buddy. Welcome back. Retro. Did you make it to the summit? Yeah, we did. She's so happy. It was incredible. Beautiful, isn't it? She's been there like 70 times. I didn't think it would be worth it, but it totally was. I should have given you my phone so you could take the ultimate selfie. Yeah, well, we already came down, didn't we? We're not going back up. Oh, it's Mr. Oshiro. Good evening, everyone. It's kind of C-3PO. A little bit. What are you doing here? A little bird told me there was going to be a party. RSVP by bird, positively magical. But if I am unwelcome, I shall take my leave. Please stay, Mr. Oshiro. It's good to see you. And yeah, he's adorable. We did really cause him a lot of problems. We helped him. We also caused him a lot of problems. You know, this is the first time I've seen you outside of that hotel of yours, Oshiro. I'm glad you made it. Retro here is baking us a pie with all the strawberries she's been collecting. Oh, well, you're not going to be terribly disappointed because I did get a few strawberries. I haven't had strawberry pie since I was a kid. This is going to be amazing. Don't get your hopes up. She's not much of a baker. You also said I wasn't a mountain climber. That's true. True. I can't promise it'll live up to the hype, Theo. But I tried my best. It won't have the 500 strawberries I should have collected. So, how's it taste? They're gonna be like, I could use some more strawberries. I didn't collect just one strawberry. You sons of guns. I had more than that one. I think I collected like 40. I also think A Hat in Time sucks. I'm not into these indie platforming gems. Each to their own, of course. I know they have huge... I think these have been fun. I've really enjoyed them. If I had to pick so let me put this out there. If I had to pick an indie platformer, some indie platformers that I've been a huge fan of, Cyber Shadow. I like Shovel Knight a lot. Cyber Shadow is one of my favorites. That would be huge, you know, so... C-3PO voice. A good C... Oh, thank you. Yoda! I hope yeah. Bad ending. Upset ending. One strawberry. It's supposed to be pie, not pie, so that the pie takes up all of the picture. Retro, I super appreciate you for baking for us. But I don't think I can eat this. It's the thought that counts. You people just can't appreciate good food. I'll eat it. I'll eat all of it myself. You don't have to do that. Yeah, it was an empty threat. So yeah, 42 out of 175. I obviously wasn't even a third of the way there. And I died 1,715 times. Which, that's a lot. I have to see what the ending looks like if you collect all 175. They'll be like, oh, it was delicious. It is. I guess I did technically get the bad ending, though, didn't I? Okay, so there's the heart gem there, which, let's see what it says. Core. Climb. So we're actually climbing from the inside, I guess. But yeah, really cute, really adorable. This game was fun. I did enjoy it. Again, if I have to pick, platforming gems or whatever, I really like the games like Cyber Shadow. There's one called Valachia, which I really like. But this was fun. It definitely deserves its place. I had a lot of fun with A Hat in Time too, so I had things I didn't like about A Hat in Time more than this. The worst thing that I had trouble with, and I think it was just my fault, is I had trouble determining the difference on the thumbstick between a diagonal and a sideways or upward angle. There's a very tight window there for me, but I don't think it was the game's fault. I think it was mine. Honestly, this game was really solid. So, and the story's really cute, and the narrative is just really cute. So, So is she schizophrenic? What's the story? I don't think she's schizophrenic. I think she's dealing. Basically, I think that was her inner. Those were her inner demons. Again, I think she's a proxy for the creator. So in some cases it was depression. In some cases it was panic attack. I think maybe it was part of the transition process for the real person. I don't know. Whatever the traumas were, I think that was what that was supposed to be. Is the mountain was magically manifesting traumas and wisdom and all of these other things externally. When she leaves the mountain, they're all going to be back inside of herself, but better managed. That's my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think the evil one is basically her anxieties, her panics, her concerns, and I think that that's kind of the idea. I don't know. Maybe I didn't interpret it right, but I thought that was good. That is a house-like voice right over. Right there, whichever one, the evil one, she uses a little bit more, but he's got like this. I don't know. He's really good. I've been getting into VTubers lately, and I found a channel called Ronnie Lust. I guess he's an artist that has one of the coolest VTuber models I've ever seen. It's a ghost being carried by a hex maniac. I have no idea what a hex maniac is, but I will take a look and see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm not a I don't know what Pokemon. I don't know Pokemon, but I'll take a look at it nonetheless because you recommend the design. I'd like to take a peek. Depression, I can relate. 10 out of 10. Representation, 11 out of 10. Well, I'm sorry that you can relate, though. Let's move things over. I hope you guys will. I gotta be honest, it was tough. I think we did a good job of segmenting it all out so that the chapters were fair for where they were. It was fun. Again, I don't understand. I don't suffer from or have ever dealt with depression or anything like that. So my interpretation of it, or my understanding of the interpretation, is going to be a lot different, and it's going to be but the story was sweet. Understanding the perspective of the person who wrote it and understanding a little bit more about them, maybe that's what that meant. I'm not entirely positive, but nonetheless, it was also sweet. The little characters, the character design is adorable. I ended up actually liking Maddie at the end, which is not something Madeline, which is not something I didn't really like the character. I thought the character was cute, but I didn't like the character's personality all that much. And then towards the end, I was like, oh, I actually think this little character is adorable in pretty well everywhere. She's, and the evil character was cool. And then the old woman, I thought I did like her from the beginning. And Oshiro, I mean, I felt a little bad for him too. And I wonder if he's meant to be anxiety in a different way. I wonder if he's meant to be kind of like maybe obsessive compulsive disorder, for example. Maybe they were different aspects of her psyche that they deal with, right? So maybe depression, anxiety, non-acceptance is the dark character. Madeline is Madeline, of course. Maybe the old woman is wisdom, is wisdom and skepticism, healthy skepticism. Maybe, and healthy doubt, maybe. And then maybe the dark character is the unhealthy, the anxieties and the unhealthy doubt. Maybe maybe Theo is reason. Maybe Theo is calm. Maybe Theo is reason. Maybe Oshiro is, an obsessive compulsion towards something that is either self-destructive or not self-destructive, because obsessive compulsive disorder doesn't just mean cleanliness. It is exactly what it says. It is an obsessive compulsion to do something. Sometimes that can be cleanliness. Sometimes that can be it could be doing something a number of times. It's a ritual. It's a compulsive ritual. So I want to know if maybe it's that, or maybe they were all just real people, except for the dark one. I don't know, but in any way, it was really cute. I thought it was really cute. Woof. Be right back. Ordering rope from Amazon. You better don't. Hog wrangling. No, it's the Hitchcock film titled Rope. That'd be fine. Getting in touch with your Wild West side, I see. I live in the Wild West, so that's, yeah. So they didn't like the pie in the end, so she killed all. I don't think she did, but I think whether they like the pie or not is dependent on how many strawberries I brought. And I brought 46 strawberries, which, by the way, I want to be very clear, 46 strawberries for any pie, for a pie for 5 people, is too many. Are too many strawberries. Those are too many strawberries for a single pie. because you slice the strawberries up. So 175 sliced strawberries inside of the pie, even if you topped it with 10 of them, 36 is too much. You don't need more than about 10 strawberries for a big pie. Just throwing that out there. Unless you want toppers, then you may want 20. Good Lord. I'd love to see Pokemon. It's retro and it can be a new experience for you. That's the canon ending. Okay, good. Yeah, I want to find... I've thought about doing Pokemon. There are a couple of things I want to do with it. Firstly, I want to have my wife involved. She's a Pokemon fan, at least for the original 150, I think she said, or 151. I want to have her help teach me some of it, because I know you guys can also help, but she's an aficionado, and I'd love to have her help. Number two, I'd like it to be a game that... I'd like it to be a retro game. I'd like it not to be a brand new one, because there's so much to learn. So I'd have to find the one that I think falls into that decently well. Maybe one of the ones for the N64, which I have, or maybe one of the classic Game Boy ones. Or I have access to a couple of Japanese-only ones. Just because I don't understand them doesn't mean I haven't collected them, because they are worth money. So I collected them before that. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. I know the game's enough to be of some help. Yeah, I definitely would take some. Again, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into Star Wars. I think I'm going to do Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and I do think, Max, I'm going to jump on yours right after that. I do think I want to jump... I want to do Star Wars and then do another Star Wars. I think it'd be fun, because I've been really wanting to do Star Wars, and I've got so many games that I could go through. So I'm going to do Jedi Survivor, and I think I'm going to do... right after that, I'm going to do the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. I think that's what I want to do, if you guys will abide me, and... we will do some really deep dives. We'll do some deep dives into Star Wars and philosophy. We'll do some deep dives into Star Wars lore and canon during the games. We'll, feel free to ask your questions. I can't guarantee I'll answer all of them perfectly. I can guarantee I'll at least answer several of them. And it's just a fun experience. Survivor was such a good game. And enough time has passed now that I feel like it's okay if I spoil it. I originally was going to play it on the channel, and I was like, I don't want to spoil it because the ending is so good. And there are so many twists and turns along the way. But I think I am going to go ahead and play it now. It's been a couple of years, so... cherries, not strawberries. Never mind. Dang it, this cold weather's not good for my hands. Oh, I hope you're... Yeah, it's hot over here. Again, you guys are hitting winter, whereas we're going to hit summer soon. And I live in the desert, so very hot. Don't play Pokemon Retro. I didn't stay away from Pokemon. I just didn't grow up with Pokemon, right? It is the stuff I was doing. It was after my time, basically. So it's like, It's, a lot of people that have a fondness for it grew up with it, and that's a unique advantage they have. I don't, RPG retro Pokemon will still be enjoyable. Maybe so. Pokemon's great. I've played Pokemon Yellow, X, and Let's Go Eevee. We have Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu both for my daughter, because she likes Pokemon. So imagine if Nintendo cared about giving their fans quality Pokemon product. Yeah. Nintendo has definitely... When I saw that they were doing the key card thing, that's when I lost a lot. I was like, oh, really? You guys are going to be the ones? It wasn't even the price hike. Like, the price hike was disappointing, but I saw it coming. And what I figured was going to happen is that the people were just going to be like, no, we don't want that. And then Nintendo was going to be forced to lower the price. But then when they said, oh, we're just doing the key cards, I was like, okay, come on, guys. So I was really disappointed. I wasn't super upset at very first. And then I was like, nope, they're only doing key card for sure. So I'm like, no. The newer games leave a lot to be desired, but the old games are good. Okay. Old Pokemon games are good. Retro was 48 when Pokemon started. Yeah. Isn't Pokemon one of the biggest entertainment properties of all time? I think so. Yeah. He's outlived Pokemon threefold. Pokemon came out in 1990. I mean, I can remember a time before Pokemon. Pokemon came out in 95, I believe. So. I am 900 years old. I am the doctor. I think I may have a hand in creating Pokemon. Time travel. Makes it harder to remember. All right, guys. Well, hey, I want to say thank you so much. This was a little bit longer than I intended. I had tried to start it, and there was a lot of different issues, and so I appreciate you guys for all hanging on with me. it is about 6 p.m. here, so it's time for me to, it's well time for me to get off and do my thing. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, wonderful rest of your Sunday, rest of your Monday video, because of course you've got your Monday's still up and going. And I really thank you for coming in and talking with me, helping me through, encouraging me, the GGs and the good games and all the other different various things. Just the fun. When we come back, I am excited to get to play Jedi Survivor for you guys and do some really Star Wars nerd out stuff. I really, really, really want to... the ones not for the Switch are good. Okay, I remember that. I really, really, really want to jump into some Star Wars. I've wanted to do that for a while. I haven't done it in a minute. I mean, obviously we played a Star Wars game briefly for the May the 4th, but the last, I think, full Star Wars game that I played was Jedi Outcast, I think, which was like a year ago or two, maybe even. I don't know at this point. Hail Satin. Goodbye, God bless, hail Satan, friends. So, hold on, make sure I got that right. Goodbye, God bless, hail Satan, and then Fighting Max says hail Satin. You're saying hail an opponent, and he's saying hail a nice fabric. Very nice. Anyway, so yeah, I think the last full Star Wars game that I actually played on the channel was like a year or two ago at this point, maybe even longer than that. It was so I think I've definitely missed my quota, let's call it. I think the only Star Wars games that I've played all the way through on the channel so far are KOTOR 1, which was 10 episodes, and then I think I played Jedi Outcast all the way through, which is like 6 episodes or something like that. So I think it's a high time for me to play some Star Wars games on the channel, especially considering I'm as big a fan as I am. So I think that's what we're going to do. We'll come back, we'll do that. Hopefully you guys will have Star Wars related questions and fun and enjoy all that kind of good stuff. It'd be fun. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend, start to your week. Worship. That's good. I like that. But yeah, I hope you guys will have a wonderful start to your week, wonderful rest of your weekend. And hey, we'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye.